All right, we are back. Episode 39 of the Reporter's Corner. I'm one half of your co-host, Jared Rubado with the Bemidji Pioneer. With me is the better half of the co-host, Trent Singer from Sioux Falls Live. Trent, how are we doing today?
Doing good, man. Another month moving on in the CCHA. We got October out of the way and rolling on into November.
Yeah, we are in the thick of it, which I believe I've said no less than 4 times on 4 different intros for these shows. But
That's okay.
We are firmly in the thick of it for CCHA play. Every team has played CCHA games now, is that right?
That's right.
Every single team. And we brought on a guest today from a team that just played their first CCHA series this weekend, got a big-time CCHA win over Minnesota State. It is St. Thomas junior defenseman Chase Cheslock, a draft pick of the New Jersey Devils, a Minnesota native, and one of the nicest kids we've ever had on the show. We'll break the fourth wall a little bit here, Trent. He could not stop thanking us for after the show of just how much fun this was for him to talk about where he's come from and stuff like this. Just a super nice, down-to-earth kid, and but more importantly, he's a damn good hockey player too. So, Trent, what are we going to do with Chase Cheslock about?
Well, I guess we should probably give a forewarning. If you're Chase Foley and you're about to listen to this episode, just know we got a lot of Chase Foley talk coming up for you, and that isn't to toot your horn, sir. But it is also to show where Chase Cheslock has kind of come from in this Tommies program. We got his perspective on kind of how Chase Cheslock's game has evolved, and a lot of it has been built around the leadership and guidance that he got from who was a person who was a great defenseman for this Tommies team last season. And yeah, I mean, it's a Tommies team, 15 newcomers, and you got 10 freshmen, 5 transfers, and there's a lot to kind of talk about, with this team. They were picked by the coaches to be the favorites to win the conference this season, coming off a 19-win season last year, their first winning season under Rico Blasi. And we talked a little bit, opened it up about just what it's been like to be part of this new arena here in St. Thomas, and Lee and Penny Anderson Arena just opened up 2 weeks ago. And then obviously last weekend they split with Minnesota State. So we talked a little bit about that, but then we talked a little bit about his journey coming to St. Thomas. He's from Rogers, Minnesota, played at Rogers High, was a 2-year captain for Rogers High School. And we talked about what it's like, playing high school hockey in Minnesota and all that entails. He committed to St. Thomas, I think before his junior career began in 2022. Played a little bit with the St. Cloud Norsemen, and then finished out that season with the Omaha Lancers before the next season. If you remember, he left mid-season at the semester break to join the Tommies in 2023-24. It was a much-needed addition for that Tommies team because they were dealing with a lot of injuries at the time. And then, of course, his sophomore season last year, St. Thomas had such a great year. And really kind of taking that next step, since they've gone D1, I believe it's year 5. And now, the expectations have just kind of gone even further. So we talked a little bit about that. Got some draft stories from him. He was picked by the New Jersey Devils in the 2023 draft in the 5th round. And, got his perspective on what it's been like to be a part of those development camps and whatnot. It was just a great chat. And I think, for Tommies fans, you're really going to enjoy this one. But more importantly, for CCHA fans in general, this is just a cool, window into another player in this league. One of the most dominant defensemen in this league. He's 6'3", 205 pounds. Get a great excerpt that I dug up from Elite Prospects about his draft profile before the 2023 draft, and kind of his take on what he thinks he is as a player. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. It's pretty good chat here with Chase Cheslock.
Yeah, so let's kick it over to our interview with Chase Cheslock.
Okay, well, we are back for another episode of the Reporter's Corner. This is a guest, I think, Jared. We've talked a lot about having this guy on for a while. One of the more imposing defensemen in this conference. He plays for a Tommies team that just had an outstanding season last year, and is really off to a solid start again this season. We got Chase Cheslock on the program. Chase, Thanks for joining us, man. How's everything going?
Good. Thanks for having me. Everything's going well. It's nice to kick off a new CCHA conference season. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I think there's no better place to start than the brand spanking new building that you get to play in. And all of those seniors from last year are probably a little bit jealous that they don't get to play in the Lee and Penny this year. But no, jokes aside, it made its grand opening a couple weeks ago. You had Providence in town. Just talk about that experience. You taking the ice for that first night in that building in front of a sold-out crowd. What was that like?
I mean, it didn't feel real until puck drop. It's one of those things that we got to go in for a few weeks before, but it still didn't feel quite real. But when we went out for warm-ups and the student section was packed already, that felt, you're like, all right, we're here. And it's something super special. Like the seniors this year, it's been 4 or 5 years coming, and it's a huge honor for them, and it's a huge honor for all of us. So it's a blast playing in that rink.
Yeah, when you like the ring's getting built, right? You can you put on the construction hat, maybe walk through as they're putting up pillars and cement blocks down and stuff like that. But then, okay, here's some walls up, right? Okay, here's where the rink's gonna be. Here's the suites, and that's starting to come together. And I know you guys got to go in a little bit before the big unveiling. What was that like? To see it before it became the finished product.
When we went in, it was probably like last spring, maybe. So it was just all concrete, no details, no nothing. And it was a good sense of like what this place is going to be like. You just step in on 3rd or 4th level maybe, and you just look out and it's like, wow, this is going to be a powerful atmosphere for sure.
How much do you miss the St. Thomas Ice Arena?
I think we miss it a little bit more than you guys might think.
Really?
Yeah.
What makes it such a lovely building to play in?
I think because other teams hate it so much.
I love that, actually.
Like we talk about all the time. How many guys want to get on an 8-hour bus or come to St. Thomas Academy to play in front of 0 fans in an ice cold rink with boards lined up against the concrete?
It's true.
Not many teams want to do that.
I always liked it because you could hear every word that Tom Serratori says on the bench from the press box, which I don't know how much the radio guys appreciate that.
Well, I want to ask a little bit about this team, man. You guys got 15 newcomers this season, 10 freshmen, 5 transfers. I mean, it wasn't long ago that you were one of those freshmen. I know it probably still feels like yesterday for you, but on a team that made it all the way to the CCHA championship game a year ago, what have you noticed about these new guys and in a lot of ways what they've added to the locker room as well as kind of the product on the ice?
That's a really good question. So definitely it's a unique situation, right? Like you got 12 guys coming in from last year's team, and then you said 15 batch of 15 new guys. So kind of gelling that new, I wouldn't say new Tommy brand of hockey, but the caliber of players we're getting is really upping the ante. So we've got a lot of guys with a lot of talent that can play up and down the lineup with skill and speed. So just trying to get those two elements of our game dialed in has been what we've been focusing on a lot with this group.
I think we want to get into your career, how you got to St. Thomas a little bit. And you're a Minnesota kid. I love the Minnesota kids because now I get to just talk high school hockey a bunch. But you're a Rogers kid. Obviously, it's a suburb of the Twin Cities, but state a hockey kid, right? I'm sure you grew up living it, breathing it like a lot of kids in the state did. Just what was kind of the thing that made you fall in love with hockey to begin with?
What made me fall in love with hockey? Well, like my parents always talk about the first stories of me loving hockey were playing ball hockey or knee hockey in the basement. And first few words I learned how to say were ball because we played with a ball, stick, and Brett Burns. So that's probably where it started. But yeah, growing up in Rogers is it's a growing town, but it's still got that small town feel to it. So you get to know everyone. You play on the same teams all the way up through high school. So just that group of guys, we'd be playing Pondy all the time. So
Brett Burns pull too. That's crazy.
It totally checks out with you, Chase. You're 6'3". At least that's what they got you listed as. 205-pound guy. I mean, you played 3 seasons of high school hockey for Rogers, 93 points in those 3 seasons. And your final 2 seasons, you were a captain, had 70 combined points during those 2 years. I mean, like I said, I said it earlier, it probably, in a lot of ways for you, still feels like yesterday. You know, how special were those formidable years for you, just in terms of your development and your growth in the sport?
Yeah, for sure. I think being a captain is such a huge honor, especially when you're playing for your town. Everyone knows you, everyone comes to the games. It's a huge honor, and it was even more of an honor being a captain of a group of guys that you grew up playing with. So, and those formidable years, I think we'll probably go into talking to why I played here, but those formidable years at Rogers, staying and playing there, because we wanted to build something bigger than ourselves. We wanted to build it. I wanted to help build it for my brother, and my brother got to play on a team that went to a state tournament. So that's a pillar in my life for sure. Want to be a part of something bigger than yourself and leaving it better than you found it.
I'm so glad you brought up that state tournament that your brother got to play in, because Rogers looks a little different now than it did 5 or 6 years ago in terms of where they stand in Minnesota high school hockey. How proud are you to see the program get to this level where it seems like year in and year out they're competing for a section title? They're vying to go to state, not only go to state, but be in contender to win the whole thing every year.
Yeah, I think it's a huge pride for me. And at the same time, like every time I get to go home, I get to hear about it from my brother. Like, you never went to a state tournament. Wouldn't you know? So, yeah, it's super fun being able to watch my little brother and watch the program develop, especially because I get to go back all the time and hop on the ice with even the younger kids and just see how much even volume, like there's like 9 or 10 squirt teams now. When I was playing, it was probably like 4. So it's always super cool to see that.
Did you go to the state tournament when your brother played in it?
I didn't get to, because I think we had a game the next night.
Oh, that's
rough. Yeah, it would have been on a Thursday.
Yeah. So they had like they played like
one of the late game. Yeah.
So I couldn't go. So I just watched it at home, and
tough.
Yeah. But
tough. Well, just before the start of your junior career, would have been 2022-23, you end up making the commitment to play for Rico Blasi and go to St. Thomas. I mean, I'm curious to know how that process was. You know, what other options were you considering, and ultimately, why did you decide on the Tommies?
Yeah, so to get to the heart of it, my mom went to St. Thomas and my dad went to St. Cloud State, and those were the ultimate two schools that it came down to.
Oh man.
And yeah, I think coming on campus and it being so close to home, but also when my dad told me, he's like, as an alumni of St. Cloud State, I think there's no way you can turn down going to St. Thomas. So just that culture, the academics, and the culture is the key part of it. I mean, the type of kids they commit, and the staff here is awesome. So that's what it came down to.
Was there ever any maybe parent rivalry there, trying to pull you in one direction or another for a bit before you made the decision?
Well, it's crazy. I tell everyone this. Like, I grew up, the Huskies were the team I cheered for, like if we were watching college hockey, because my dad went there, and I always loved. It was always like a pretty quick drive too. Like, you just hop on 94 and you trek up there and watch St. Cloud versus North Dakota or another NCHC school, and just two hard-nosed teams battle it out in those years where they were really good, like Schultz, Spencer Meyer. They had some huge backenders, Nick Perbix. The list goes on. But I don't think there was ever like any kind of tension in between them. They just wanted what was best for me, so they were on the same page.
Yeah, and then obviously you get to start your junior career, and you go to, ironically, St. Cloud, right up the road, about an hour up the road, to play in the Null. You know, and that's where you played before you went to Omaha and played for the Lancers in the USHL. Just talk to us about how that process unfolded that ultimately got you to Omaha.
Well, so it probably started that summer after my junior year, where we go down to a main camp. And Coach Wilkie, I kind of brought up like a before and after. Like, I didn't know how the process worked. And he's like, you're either going to come down here before the season and you're going to end up staying down here. I want you to play the whole year, or you go back to high school and then we'll see you after the year. And I go, I already committed to my boys back home. I'm gonna go back home. We're gonna try and win the state go to the state championship. That obviously was a shortcoming, but so then I went home, and then Will Ingham and I decided we're gonna play on the Norseman before our senior year. Kind of get a taste of juniors. So we went on up and played for Millen in St. Cloud for a few games, and then go back to the high school year. After the high school season, and Wilkie's like, it's time to come down, pack stuff up, and go and finish the year there.
Well, you know, following that 2023 season too, it was a dream moment for you. And I believe we've had one other person on the show, ironically a defenseman who we got a great story out of, and I gotta hear your story. You end up getting drafted by the Devils, 5th round, 2023 draft. I mean, what do you remember, about getting that call, and just the excitement of knowing you were wanted by an NHL team?
Yeah, my agent's gonna laugh at this one again. So it started with I had work that day, later in the afternoon. So I just went about my morning, just kind of put the draft off to the side. And then I was kind of watching it before I went to work. And my agent called me. He's like, "You're going right now to San Jose." I go, "No way." He's like, "Keep your phone on you." Get a phone call back. He calls me again. He's like, "You're not going to San Jose. Like, just keep going about your day." So I'm like, "All right, I'm going to work." Go to work, get a call from him again. He's like, "All right, this time it's actually happening." And I go, it's probably one of the best feelings ever. Walk into reception and go, "Hey, can't come into work today. I got to go back home." Turn around, get in the car, go back home and tell the family. So that was pretty cool. I can't put it past my Dino though, because it was kind of a mishap, but it ended up being pole camp that went to San Jose.
Yeah.
So another CCHA alum. So
I was gonna ask, is Dino Grillo your advisor there?
Yeah, Dino Grillo is my guy.
He's a good dude. I grew up with his son Brandon, playing Minnesota hockey camps up in Brainerd. So
yep, I went to that one too.
No way! Wow,
Yeah.
That's crazy. So
I've got to read this excerpt, though. As I'm doing my research here, I came across this Elite Prospects 2023 NHL Draft Guide, and this is Chase Cheslock's just kind of draft comp here. It says, Cheslock is a scary presence when he's locked to the net. He's like a beaver when it comes to his disdain of opposing players' sticks. Constant chops, lifts, and time disruption plays make it near impossible to get a shot off in the crease. Box outs, physicality, punishing cross checks. He makes the front net living hell for his opponents. So I got to ask, how accurate is this analysis, and is it something that you take a lot of pride in terms of the way you play your game?
Jeez, they make me sound unreal.
Air on this kid's tires, man. Holy cow.
Yeah. They really pumped them up there. I think like when I'm playing my best hockey, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Right? Like playing mean, being hard to play against. You don't want them to go to your crease. You don't want them to touch your goalie. So I think that's pretty accurate, but they definitely up the ante on what I'd say about myself for sure.
I want to kind of go into your second year of juniors, and it was an interesting one. I mean, you're a captain. You had a good start, 8 points, 15 games, and at Christmas you make the jump to college hockey. Talk to me about that process and joining a college hockey team at the semester.
Yeah, you're just getting tossed right into the fire. So we always joke about that first weekend I came was 3 days. Like we played a game like 3 days after Christmas in Vermont, and we got swept bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, what did I just get myself into? So yeah, I think I was very lucky to be in Omaha. I love my billets. I love the organization in Omaha. I love Coach Wilkie. It was one of the hardest decisions to say I got to step away from the team and I'm going to go to college. But Coach Rico called and said, "Hey, we need you to come in and we need you to finish off this season and help us make a push." And I go, "I'm all in. Let's do it." So get there, super welcoming. I don't think a lot of guys. Well, Matthew Gleason had done it when he was at CC, so he kind of just pointed pointed me in the right direction. So you just got to go in all in. You can't dip your toes. You just got to jump right in.
Yeah, and you talked about that weekend against Vermont where it's faster, bigger, right? You get swept. Was there a point where the game started to slow down for you that you remember of like, okay, I'm starting to kind of find my feet at this level a little bit?
Yeah, I think Vermont was just snapping around that weekend for sure, but it wasn't really like the pace that was the biggest adjustment. It was just how much like bigger and stronger everyone is. You can't, as a bigger guy growing up and through juniors, you could just knock guys down. But when you get to college, everyone's big. Everyone's been in the weight room 2, 3, 4 years solid since they've been in college working out. And it's an older crowd. Like, especially with still fifth years, like we were playing like a 97 as an 04. And you're like, these are grown men now. Like I was still 19 at the time. You got to go in and you got to play big boy hockey. So that was the biggest adjustment. I don't think it was the pace. It was the structure and the physicality.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reality too, right? Like there's not too many 19, 20-year-olds even that end up making that leap to the college level. So you end up that first season, 3 points in 19 games for a Tommies team. Really, because I covered the league at the time, desperately needed you with all the mounting injuries they were facing in that latter half of that season. Just described it. What were those first few months like, and just in terms of settling in on the ice, and really just kind of settling into the routine of the college game?
Yeah, I think I couldn't have asked for a better way to settle it in, because at St. Thomas we have a J term, it's called.
Yep.
So there's no like scheduled classes throughout the month. It's kind of like everyone's Christmas break. So I wasn't even in classes yet. So I just got to focus on hockey and getting my routines and getting all the systems locked in before I had to jump into classes on top of all of it. So just being able to focus on the hockey was really important and really key in my improvement throughout that season. But even in like not even thinking about points, but just getting used to playing at that kind of level was my biggest focus coming in. Like, how can I come in right away and just help the team win games night in, night out? And that was something that you could still learn to this day. Like, what's the best way I need to prepare in order to help my team win? So that was the biggest part, jumping into college right away.
Yeah, for sure. And last year, it seemed like you really started to kind of settle into your role on this team too. You plus 16, 14 points in 38 games. But more importantly, St. Thomas had its first winning season as a Division I program. And for you, for the team, what do you feel like enabled you to take that jump as a sophomore?
Not to pump his tires, but I have to give a lot to 7, Chase Foley.
Yes.
Like, that guy.
It's unreal.
I would go to him for everything. I probably asked him way too many questions. And he probably yelled at me a lot more than he wanted to. But him, like, just being able to look at a guy and be like, okay, I probably should be doing that. Or I should probably add that. Or coming back to the bench and him he's like, just settle in. Or joking on the bench. I have to give a lot of credit to that guy right there on being able to certainly settle in as a college player.
And not only that, the leadership stuff that he was so good at, but he's a hell of a player too. I mean, one of the best two-way defensemen in all of college hockey last year.
So good.
Yeah. I mean, did you find yourself picking up things in his game and the way he plays that you can add to your game through that first year and a half in college hockey?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I was learning something new every day, whether it was on the ice, off the ice. Obviously 2 completely different builds, but still picking up on those things that he did so well and was able to think the game are assets that guys don't have. He just had a different gear. So it was super cool. And just to be able to watch his 5th year, watch him play in front of his family every night, that was something cool to be a part of.
Yeah.
Well, obviously following last year, it's inherent, I think, in a lot of ways. Expectations are obviously higher now at St. Thomas, and it's a program picked to finish first by the coaches coming into the season. And lot of times that pressure is a privilege. What do you feel is different about this year's team, though, compared to the previous two that you've been a part of at St. Thomas?
Well, I think especially this year compared to last year, because were we picked to finish first last year too?
I think they were actually. I think they were.
So that our returning group were like, that doesn't mean anything. We got to start from the ground up. We got to stick to our process, buy into our culture early, and just work on getting better every day, regardless of where we are in the standings, regardless how many points we're picking up. But just sticking with it and getting with it right away. It took us till after Christmas to really figure that out last year. And I think these older guys are really committed to that and getting everyone on board to that mentality of doesn't matter where we are in the standings. What we need to be focused on is how are we going to get better today and what does our process look like? Rico really loves talking about our process. That's a big focus for us. And it took us too long to get to it last year. So this older group realized that it really needs to start. And it started 3 months ago or whenever our team finally got together for training camp. That's what we've been harping on.
You mentioned the older guys, and I want to ask about the captain, Lucas Wallen. I think third year, if I remember right, Jared, third year as a captain. I mean, what has he sort of meant just in terms of that leadership aspect for really this team's trajectory in general?
I mean, when I came in right away, it was his first season, I think, being the captain, and I didn't even know. Like, I thought he'd been the captain since he got there.
Wow. He was a sophomore too.
But the thing about Lucas is he's such a good leader. I've been trying to find the words to explain it because a lot of people ask me about Lucas. He just knows what to say to the group. Doesn't matter what the coaches are telling him. Doesn't matter what he's hearing from the players. He always knows what to say to the group to get the right thing out of everyone. And it's super impressive. His ability to lead by example, but also lead vocally. I feel like there's a lot of people that can do a really good job leading by example, and there's a lot of good vocal leaders, but to be able to pair those two together is something that he does extremely well. He's really good at uniting our group, being that center, and just the way he plays. I mean, he plays a type of game where if we're kind of losing momentum a little bit, he'll go out there, pick a pocket, crush somebody in the wall, can also score a goal, pick up points. He knows what he needs to do to get the most out of our group, whether it's on the ice, in the locker room, off the ice. So it's something really special.
Yeah, it's good to see him back healthy too after that spill he took against North Dakota. It looked ugly, but only missed one weekend, so it's great to have Wallen back for the past couple weekends too. So last one before we get into some of the fun ones, but you've done 3 dev camps with the Devils now, and just talk about those experiences, right? I mean, you get to play with and against players from all different kinds of leagues and walks of life, and I'm sure it's a great learning opportunity, but just talk to me what you took from those experiences.
I'm super fortunate to be able to go out there and practice in their facilities and use their resources for a few days every year. I mean, they're so gracious. I think the biggest thing, I think a lot of guys would tell you this, is that it's so funny. You're a lot closer than you think, but you're still so far away.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to get at?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can play with these guys, you can compete, but you're still out there and you still see guys like Dougie Hamilton walking around, Jesper Bratt. You see these guys doing their stuff, and you're like, holy cow, I still got a long ways to go. Like, we still got to work every day.
Yep.
So I think that's probably the biggest takeaway I've had each 3 years. Every 3 years, you're like, man, I'm right there with all these guys. And then at the same time, you see Dougie Hamilton walking around. He's probably the same height as me, but 30, 40 pounds heavier, just muscle. Like, he's got a long way to go.
Yeah.
So.
Who is the cool? Like, did you get a chance to meet Dougie Hamilton, or who was the coolest person you've gotten to meet at these camps?
I think the people they have in their staff and their office, like Eric Weinrich played 1,200 games. Andy Green played for Rico, played over 1,000 games. Marty Berdeur's around. Got to meet him. That is some super special.
That's crazy.
So like Patrick Eliash, all these guys, they're still around the organization, and I think those are definitely some of the coolest guys. Megan Duggan,
oh yeah,
the gold medalist.
That's crazy, man. That's
top
awesome.
tier hockey players and top tier people for sure.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, we got to jump into our one-timers, man. So like I said, we got some stuff to kind of close this out. Kind of some fun stuff. You can answer as little or as much as you want to on these. But it's always cool to get perspective of guys who play amongst these players in this league. Where's the toughest place to play in the CCHA so far that you've been to?
Ooh, Bowling Green.
Really? Okay.
We get Bowling Green and Tech a lot.
Is it the low ceiling?
I think it's just that environment.
Yeah.
They got some hostile fans over there.
Yeah, with the hard boards too. Probably doesn't feel good going into those either.
No. Well, that's the first time I've seen newspapers at a game too.
How about in all of college hockey? Is there a place outside of the CCHA that you've been to that you were like, wow, this is something?
Well, obviously, being able to play at Ralph Engelstad.
Yeah,
of course.
So
it's hardly even a college hockey rink at that point.
It was insane. I felt like we were at the XL Energy Center all over again. That place is huge.
Yeah, it's not. How cool is it playing in St. Cloud? Obviously being a fan, growing up, going to those games, was that pretty special?
Big Olympic sheet.
Yeah, that's special too because you can point out like all the games that you've watched from different spots.
I'm sure there's a moment too where it's like maybe it isn't so special with the ice being 10 feet wider than it should be.
Oh yeah, definitely. You feel it. Like I think it was last year. It was like, it's a little bigger.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is there a pro hockey player that you grew up? I know you already mentioned Brent.
Yeah.
But a player that you kind of admired, maybe wanted to model your game after?
I mean, Brett Burns from I think I cried when he got traded. Brett Burns. But then as you get older, you like watching a lot of different guys. So as I've gotten older, you pick out different things from different guys' games.
Who's a guy you like now that kind of sticks out to you?
Ooh, like right now, if I'm watching clips, I like watching Mo Sider.
Ooh, okay.
Yep.
Big, strong defender, good stick, physical, and then I always love watching how Charlie McAvoy takes line rushes. Man, he's a good player.
He's tough too. Tough kid.
How about who's the most talented hockey player that you've ever shared the ice with? It could be at any level that you played, whether it was bantams all the way up to where you're at now,
or a dev camp.
Or a dev camp.
Yeah.
I guess.
Oh, talented player I've ever hit the ice with. There's so many that come to mind, but like the first thing that pops into my mind, it's not one player, but it's two. It's the Pitlick brothers.
Yeah.
I played in some summer scrimmages with them games on like a Friday morning in the middle of summer. They'd be on the same line. Score would be 16-15, and they'd each have 36 points. I'd have to say those two. It was insane.
Yeah.
What about the most underrated hockey player? Maybe they had some subtle skill that just maybe goes a little bit unnoticed, that they need some more love for what they're able to do.
That's a really good question too.
Chase Foley definitely fits this bill.
Yeah, 7. But I already pumped his tires too much, and if he watches and he sees that I said him, his head's gonna be so big. Man, that's a great question. That's one I'd really have to think on, because we've played with so many guys.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Shoot, man. Think Road from Bemidji a few years ago.
Yeah, Leighton Road.
Man, he can play.
Yeah.
And it's not even like a flashy skill, but his ability to play all over the ice, be so effective. I think that'd be one for sure.
Not a big kid, but played so much bigger than he was when he got in a corner. And I mean, you can't play at Bemidji State and never go into a corner.
Right. Well, I think you could put Lucas Wallen in that category too.
Oh yeah.
He plays the same way, but he's the same way. If I say something about him on here, he's gonna come give me a pat on the butt for sure.
We had him on last year, so maybe I'll have to go back and listen, but maybe he gassed you up too much too.
Yeah, he might have.
I hope not.
I think this is a fun one. I think this is our last one, isn't it, Jared?
Yeah,
here we got who? Okay, so you now you got your ties with the Devils, and I'm sure you've got some connections now. We've been asking this one since probably the middle of our first season last year. Who's the most famous person in your cell phone?
That's a great question. I don't even know if I have anyone that famous in my cell phone.
Yeah, someone from the Devils.
I'd have to say Megan Duggan then.
Yeah,
Gold
there you
medalist,
go.
Or Wino. Weinrich,
Yeah.
she's got 1,200 games.
It had to be someone from the Devils.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure.
And Megan's all time, so I'd go with Megan.
I would have lost it if you ended it with Brent Burns there too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
One day, Chase.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Absolutely.
Maybe you could go see one of his ranches.
That's right. That's
you
right.
don't want the hockey stuff. You just want to hang out with him.
I want to see what he's doing day to day.
Yeah.
Me too, man. I honestly do too.
Yeah. So, Chase, thank you so much. It was a pleasure chatting with
Appreciate
you.
it, man.
Best of luck. Best of luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you guys. This was great. This was awesome. Thanks for having me on. Pleasure.
All right. Once again, thank you to Chase Cheslock for joining the show, and thank you to our producer, Perry Lascaris. Subscribe to the CCHA Show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from, and subscribe to the CCHA on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter at Trent Singer and at Jared Rubado BP. You can check out our work at BemidjiPioneer.com and SiouxFallsLive.com.